What's up and welcome, dear friends. It's your girl, Empress Danny, back with another episode of the Daily Grind. You know how I do, right? I stay pouring you up hot Joe, right? Pump it up, right? Maybe that's what you're doing today, getting your day off to a bright and beautiful start. I do feel today begins with having a sense of direction. There's also a general energy around someone that has been silent, speaking. This could be things that have been dormant coming to rise. It does feel like the energy of the dead in Christ will rise first. So it does feel like I get a little Nas X type flow. I told you long ago on the road, I got what they're waiting for. I don't run from nothing, dog. Tell you, get your soldiers, tell them that their break is over. So I feel a very strong energy, and this could simply be your own vitality coming back. Maybe some of you have been on vacation. Maybe you've been taking a break. This can be from someone, from something. Perhaps this is healing time, right? In the pause, giving reflection, perhaps before addressing something or someone. But I feel this energy of today, perhaps being in a position where there's a sense of knowing, perhaps what to do, what to say, having confirmation that dispels any fear that may have been associated. And some of you, this is demonstrating of what feels like a good leader. Thank you for being here. Make sure that you guys tap that plus sign, give the channel a follow if you haven't done so already. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to this channel. The name Kayana is significant. I also heard there was another name that I was picking up in meditation. Denisha could be significant. The song that I got, a channel song, is Daryl and John. It made me think of my good friend Doug. I can't go for that. No can do. So if you think about it, right, sometimes what gives rise to the voice is things that are unsettling, right? Things about which you cannot rest. It brought me to, I've been in this space of reflection. For those of you who are in Indiana, Governor Mike Braun has been boasting, I want to say, around $6 million in surplus for the state of Indiana. While most budgets are in a deficit, he is claiming to have saved $6 million. But in hindsight, when you consider that, Mike Braun is the one who approved an initiative to cut thousands of Hoosiers' benefits and leaving the burden of supporting those families, those people, on your own friends and families. And so when you look at things like that, those are not true recoveries. What you've done is stolen their benefits. You've taken their benefits in order to pump yourself up, to give the impression or the appearance that you are doing right by the state of Indiana, while depriving Hoosiers of the benefits it is that they are actually rightfully due. And so it gives, again, things of that nature, that when you reflect, you put all the pieces together and you're able to more adequately address issues, problems, conflicts. And it's kind of giving the energy of, it's almost like it gives the energy of finger pointing, but knowing perhaps, I do get an energy of like where to place blame. And I don't feel like we're saying, blame someone today. I just feel this energy of like, even if this is oneself, this is heavy reflection that says, you know what, that's on me. This was my fault. As I hear Chrisette Michelle, right? Blame it on me, right? So it speaks to accountability where we're not willing to take accountability. This is also where we will see, I just heard those three fingers pointing back at us. So I do feel like today brings about, I just heard a full resolution, because it feels as though, I don't know why I get the energy of everything is on the table, everybody's at the table. So what it does is it does away with the act. So I like this, because if there have been, I just heard silent parties, silent partners, if there has been silence, then now I feel today brings some sort of an address and whatever that address is, it feels puts together the pieces. I also hear something around the mockers. So if there has been a mockery, say you've been in a position where people have been mocking you, well, if all the pieces or information or things come out today, then perhaps this actually brings about reflection that is a knowing that perhaps you shouldn't have been mocked. Perhaps I just heard you shouldn't have been scorned, which gives the impression of what could be like the energy of a woman scorned. Heavily in meditation came up some significance around gender roles today. So we could see some significance in duality that is at play. What that often looks like for me is, when someone says, as a woman, blah, 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 or as a man, blah, 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 blah. And obviously, we try to get away from those stigmas as much as we can. But the reality is that there are certain things, responsibilities associated with whether this is your actual gender or it's simply the role that you play in a situation or circumstance. If I'm the divine masculine, then I have the responsibility to protect. That means if there's circumstances where things are unprotected, things are not secure, that is on the divine masculine to provide that security. If I'm the divine feminine, I am responsible to nurture or to maintain what it is that the masculine has actually established. And so if there is a lack of maintenance, if things are not being nurtured, if there's no evolution or development, then that would be on the divine feminine. So there could be, again, what feels like if there have been complaints, issues, arguing, it could be like who's on next. Today feels like being able to delineate. I also just heard aggregate to what or to whom responsibility or onus is ascribed. Hey Marlene, good to see you. And hello, shout out a few of you in the comments. Agent Smith, welcome in, right? Salute. Hey Jason, appreciate you being here. The solutionist, don't we love it when a good answer is in the building? Hey Nadine, how are you today? Pink Sugar, I know this is the day for it. Nurtured Nature, appreciate you being here. Oh, humble one, right? Don't we need humility every day? Yeah, some of us need less of it, to be completely honest. But that's a story for another day. Welcome, Jaina. Hey, Patrick. JP in the house in this new with the new. I love it. What's up, boss? Hey, JJ, Dana. Right? Hey, Sandra. What's up, Shireen? Corina, Janisa. What's up? Larry, hey there, Ali. Welcome in, y'all. Hey, Kayla. What's up, Lucy? Pretty eyes. Thank you for those likes on the video. I appreciate you supporting me. Hey, Terrence. Those of you who are new here, give the channel a follow. Tap that plus sign so that you can come back. We do this just about every day, right? Sometimes I take days off, right? Like anyone, I need a break too. Hey, Jimmy, what's up, trucker? Are you an ice road trucker? At night, do you turn to a monster, right? None of my business, right? Just don't monster on me. Grand Rising, Jimmy. Thank you, Solutionist. I appreciate the love that you're showing. Anyway, let's continue and tap in and get the remainder of these messages with the daily grind as I almost shuffle the deck backwards, right? I gotta say, I can see some good cards. Some of you, there's indication of what could be concerns around finances. And the relationship to money is a delicate balance, which could indicate that you're too in your head about money, needing to get in your heart about money, which means that perhaps it is the despair that you feel is because you're being too logical in perspective concerning the way that currency works. And that could certainly be stopping your flow because at mind you're worrying, which usually indicates that you are meditating on or focusing on your conflicts or challenges that you have with money, as opposed to what the solutionist is in the house. At heart, identifying those solutions and knowing that everything at heart will work out, and that being your meditative thought versus the worry about things falling apart, okay? Everything has to do with the way in which we are addressing the topic of finances. So again, really trying to kind of contemplate perhaps, how am I thinking about money from a place of falling apart? Oh, this is never going to work. Well, if this happens, then that won't happen. This is like, okay, how can we make it work, right? What is the place in heart? I know that this is good for me. I know that this will benefit me. So what can I do to work whatever this is out? And it'll help you address it from the right perspective and have the most appropriate approach. Let's jump in and get today's messages. Feels as though a transformation is afoot. Like I said, for some you're transitioning into stillness, some you're transitioning out of stillness, which means you've been reflecting, you've been silent. Maybe there has been some element of separation at play in your circumstance. Maybe it is a meditative posture, haven't really done a whole lot, and you're beginning to move into action. While for others of you, you could very well be in a position where I've been doing a whole lot, right? I've been moving way too much, and I'm in a position where now it's time for me to rest, okay? I do feel like some of you are realizing there's benefit in somewhat of your natural state. Whether you're like me and you're embracing natural state, literally curls and things of that nature, or this is you realizing something that you are natural at. I'm just naturally good at whatever this is. This could be relationships that fit, right? I don't have to force things with you. You just know what to do. You know what I like, right? That's what I like. That's what I like. Lucky for you. That's what I like. That's what I like. So maybe some of you are getting back into this space where you realize part of your true nature and the power that you are in what feels like endowed with comes when you do things in a way that is natural to you. And this goes back to the divine masculine and divine feminine, right? If a divine, this is significant, right? I know some people ain't gonna like this. Let me come a little bit closer, right? I don't need you mad at me, so I need to speak to your heart, right? Not just your ears, right? There is a queen energy at play today, okay? When you are a queen or you're dealing with a queen, there is a way that you entreat a queen. A lot of times, you will see masculines who operate in queen energy. A queen is served by expectation. Masculines are served because a queen loves to be of service. But a masculine does not have expectation that a queen is going to arise from her throne and serve him, because that is not the role of a queen. And if you know, you know. It is the masculine role to assert himself. So if a masculine is operating in the form of a queen, expecting or anticipating that a feminine is going to bring him everything or do this or do that, he is not demonstrating leadership. He has moved and transitioned into a divine feminine aspect. And it's not for me to say that that's not the role that he should be playing. But some of you need to examine your situations, your circumstances, your relationships, because it could very well be that equal yoking is you may be in an era of life that puts you in this queen energy, right? You may be operating in feminine energy. And if so, you are not equally yoked with a person who's operating also in feminine energy. Someone has to be the masculine. And sometimes this is times of life, right? If my husband is sick and it is his need for rest and to get well, then he is not suited to be the masculine in that particular dynamic. That doesn't make me automatically suited to be the masculine in the dynamic. Sometimes I might be in a position where, babe, I got to get well too. And so that puts us in a position where we have to take an individual stance that addresses our own divine masculine and divine feminine. I have to care for myself, which means I may not be asserting myself to take care of you. So don't be in that queen energy expecting me to come to you or to bring to you or to do for you things of that nature. And this is not just dating relationships. This is all kinds of relationships. This is in business, right? This might be where we have, perhaps it is a new line of business. Maybe we have something that's taking place in the business that's something that no one has ever encountered before. That queen energy would be expecting what could be even your boss to tell you all the answers. Well, sweetheart, if I'm learning too, then I don't have all the answers to give them to you. I suggest you grab a book. I suggest you take the initiative. I suggest you look into it and identify solutions. And that's not leaving you on your own, right? This is report back. Let me know what you find, but you're going to have to be resourceful for yourself because I'm trying to figure this out as well. Okay. So this is where, and these are the aspects, and what you will see, just like you just saw, is the divine masculine then takes rise. That's how you protect yourself, right? Similarly, in that queen energy, where you're in a position where, I just heard, I can't read, right? That would be how you protect yourself, right? Yeah, I know you want me to go pick up a book, but I can't read. So if I'm not in a position where I'm able to read, that's an area where I'm going to fall back. And you should not have that expectation of me because I'm operating in what divine feminine. That's an area that I'm healing because I can't read. So again, obviously, these are not apples to apples scenarios, but you can look at some aspect of your situation or circumstance. If someone wants to financially depend on you and you're not strong financially, you have it's really like you are not in a position to be financially reliant on them, right? They don't use them as your masculine when you're not financially. It's like if you're not financially dependent or they're not financially reliant, that's when you look at yourself. I'm not expecting you to take care of me, right? I'm not expecting you to do for me because that's not realistic based on your condition, okay? And again, vice versa. Some of you don't play the masculine if you know you're not in you're not in a position to do so. So this is Dwayne Johnson, right? Know your role and shut your mouth, okay? Let's continue forward, right? This is, for some of you, this is very freeing. This is helping you to liberate. And again, this is natural. It's the nature, right? If she asking you for money and you ain't got it, look, sweetheart, I don't got it. I'm trying to recover my dang on self. So how can I give it to you, right? And what it's doing is you protecting yourself. You're allowing that feminine essence to then flow forward and that masculine essence to protect or preserve that. Thank you. I appreciate that you like my energy. I hope that you'll give the channel a follow and come back, right? Similarly, where you got it, right? And you see someone who's in queen energy, whether they are deserving of it or whether they're just in a position where you don't put that person in a position where they have to be in masculine energy. Don't put that person in a position where they have to be in masculine energy while you stand back and do what it is that works for you, because you want to be a queen and you're expecting that. So like I said, when we talk about this, look, be mindful of what time it is. Some people are healing, they're recovering. Others are not in a position of recovery. They have recovered. And the strong bear the infirmities of the weak. So when you're strong, if you think God blessed you with all that for no reason, well, the way that this works is the way the laws of the universe operate. If you're strong and you see the weak and you decide that you're going to, I just heard further cripple them. Maybe that's a message from Mike Braun. Or you decide that what you're going to do as it pertains to the weak is just to stand back and watch them, right? Criminalizing things like homelessness. Well, then you can anticipate that whatever it is that you felt made you strong, when it comes election time and you go to post that you recover $6 million, anticipate those people that are willing to step up and give testimonials talking about how you robbed them of their benefits and the losses it is that they experience, that basically speak against and address the fact that what you did was actually thievery on the back end, and that actually reduce your election numbers. And instead of feeling like you position yourself to be strong at the polls, you realize just how much of a deficit and a weakness it is that you created for your ability to maintain your seat. Things of that nature. So I do feel like, and again, this is kind of like picking on the little guy, kicking people while they're down, things of that nature. That's going to get you messed up. And it's almost like being in a position where there's this appearance perhaps that they have no strength, that they have no power, that they are of no effect or little effect. And then on the other end of what could be that underestimation, realizing just how much power they pack behind them, mirroring your own strength, but it actually being valid by virtue of perhaps acts, right? Actions. And that mirroring perhaps being different for you. I'm not used to seeing someone rise up in this way, but it being a true reflection of what you have done less the arrogance that's associated. So let's tap in a little bit more. I do feel a very strong sense of peace coming in deep down, where there's a deep sense of disturbance and things don't actually resonate. That's where it's supporting your ability to return to nature. Absolutely. Love thy neighbor as thyself. If you were in the position that your neighbor is in, what would you want or desire your neighbor to do? How would you want them to show you love? How do you show your neighbor love, right? That is a reciprocal relationship. And the mirroring, I just heard, is real. So some of you've been showing your neighbor love. Well, anticipate that your neighbor's going to show you that love in return. And even if they don't, the universe will mirror your generosity, your actions, the will it is that you set forth, and ensure that you are taken care of. Why? Because your neighbor may still be healing and they may not be in a position. So trust that alchemy is alchemy, and it'll bring in exactly what it is that you need at the appointed time. Let's tap in. It feels like, again, getting back to your nature. If you're feminine and you've been operating heavily masculine, this is you allowing yourself what feels like the grace to accept. This could mean that you have been in the dominant mode, which is assertion, and you may need to fall back and be in the receptive mode, ready to receive, ready for some things to come in, right? Maybe you've been going to him, and you need to position yourself where you say, look, sweetheart, you're going to have to come to me. You're going to have to come to me. Yeah, I hear, yay, I got what you need. What you need. So this could be where I have what you, but you're going to have to meet me where I am. And I feel that energy very strongly. It feels as though, like I said, today, the top of the day brings in water energy, where there's some sense of, I don't know, I just heard lurking. So for some of you, there could be someone who's lurking. Maybe they're looking, maybe they're watching. I also heard lurch. So there could be some significance around that. It could simply be a sensitivity. I feel like I need to fall back, right? I don't know why it's giving like act natural, but I don't feel like this is an act. I feel like fall back and be sensitive to what your nature is. I'll tell you guys something. I was actually trying to make a decision about what I was going to do for my next style with my hair, because y'all know I like to change my hair up and do different things. And I had actually purchased a texture softener, and I was thinking about this, and I was like, I've really been mindful about the things that I do to myself, right? I don't do any hormone. I don't take any drugs. I don't put certain things in my body. I'm really being mindful about returning to my true nature. And so I'm mindful about chemicals and things of that nature. So I say this because I had bought something to soften my texture just a little bit, to loosen my curls so that it would elongate my hair. I want my hair is actually very long, but you can't see that obviously based on the shrinkage. So I'm preparing to put this texture softener in my hair. And I had a moment where I just felt very sensitive about it. And I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want chemicals on my hair. I don't want to soften my texture. I want to be who I actually am. And so that was me, like, wait a minute, let me fall back. Again, having it in hand, having the opportunity. I can't lie, for somebody, this could certainly be like it could be like drugs in your hand. It could be having, I don't know whether that's to sell or whether that's to use. It could be having something, a resource of sorts at your disposal. This could be a deceitful plan. It could also be something that is divisive. And you could be in a position where you're sensitive concerning whatever that thing is. And you may say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And that feels like today, it's almost like returning to one's natural state and realizing that you have the power, right? It gives the energy of the anti-drug. This is going to key. It could be going back to a person, right? Oh, I could swing it. I could do both. And this is like, nah, that's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. And what feels like signs that I do feel like that you've changed midday, I feel comes in some sort of a result, an indication, it feels like, of letting go, of release. and it feels like of the former way. Again, a way of doing things. It's almost like I feel midday comes in a sign that you're no longer connected or attached to that energy, because it's almost like denying one's nature at the top of the day. If there is a denying of one's nature, then midday brings in something that, it's almost like I feel so bad. I can't do that anymore. I have to let that go, or I have to let them go. And seeing signs that, this could be like that you were found out, or that something was figured out. It also feels like where there was like a willingness to fall back and to be sensitive, then midday in comes something that's almost like knowing that you are being shepherded. So if you had any apprehension, you can let go or let down your guard. You can release that apprehension. I hear, who is that? Pink. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. So perhaps you are saying something. The end of the day brings back water. And it makes me feel like this is the mirroring. And it's like deep down, I know that I was trying to get over on them. Or it's like deep down, I know I'm really good at this. And it's almost, again, this energy that has to do with natural skills, where when I'm just a natural and I'm good at what could be like pinpointing, or I know how to identify them, or I know, I don't know why it gives like I'm good at picking them. It also feels like if I'm predatory in the way that I'm picking them, this is a reflection that's like, I don't know why I do feel this energy of deep down knowing that I've been preyed upon because I'm predatory in how I pick them, or what feels like the end of the day is feeling very good at being able to pick them, and knowing that I just heard you got real skill. That is what I have for you. I hope that these messages have been beneficial for you. Guys, go ahead, and if you haven't given the channel a follow, I ask that you would do that now. I also ask that you would stay tuned, because if you check the link in the description, I do a daily message on Spotify, but the Patreon is linked in the bio, and Patreon houses all the replays. So this message, if you didn't catch the entire thing, will be available there if you want to see things from the top of the day and the overall energy for the day. Again, if I can't go for that, that's not good enough. That's not going to work for me. This is someone who I feel is, again, getting back to their nature. They're going through some sort of process that I do feel this. I feel today has to do with sensitivity and being able to sense. I get the energy of like when this could be like you're up on something. It could also be being able to sense when someone is praying on you. Also, some of you may sense when someone is praying for you, and it could be like knowing that you know how to choose good friends, choose your friends wisely. It could also be knowing that you know how to choose your battles. But what feels like, I just heard you got it honest. So I feel by the end of the day, a sense of personal satisfaction that says I really am good at what could be like putting two and two together, and recognizing that your emotional givenness or sensitivity to people, places, and things. I do get this energy of knowing that you are what feels like understood. Knowing that I do feel the energy of like also have the humility of a child. And that when you do what is of your nature to do, despite what could be like what other people want you to do, or what maybe even is like that's unnatural, that doesn't work for me, that's not how I do things, then something makes me feel like you're recognizing that's really the power of the Holy Spirit that you're more deeply comprehending, and that is revealing itself in your life. Just inbox me, Raven. I got you. Inbox me, love. I just want to get a cartomancy card before we go to Spotify. I will be back here, right? I go to Spotify for about 10 minutes, where I give a brief. That's for people who are on the go, right? That way they can get the messages while they're on their way to work, in case they don't have time to be here with us on the daily grind. So I'll go do that one real quick, and then I'll come back and we use tarot. This is only Oracle, but I'll use tarot to get our extended messages here. Now, finally, for our cartomancy cards, I had two fall. We have a person, which I told you what, Queen Energy. I didn't lie. I don't lie. because I can't lie, right? We have the Queen of Spades here along with the Six of Hearts. Love this energy here. It is karmic though. So this does say at the end of the day, the short and sweet, the skinny of it is when you are doing things that are not natural for you to do. Oh no, there could definitely be something around like it's unnatural for I don't know, right? And this could be like it's not in your nature, right? That's not what you're forcing this, right? It could be forcing a relationship, it could be forcing a job, it could be forcing circumstances. If you're doing something today that's not natural, you're not supposed to be doing that. It's going to be a lesson learned in your feelings, okay? It's also where you're doing the things that are natural for you to do, right? I know me, I'm a cooker. I like to cook. I don't just cook in the kitchen. But if I like to cook and that's what I do and that's what I'm good at, and I'm being facetious, but I'm also being serious. I like to take care in a relationship, right? I like to give my man massages. That's not forced. Baby, you want me to rub your feet? What do you need? That's just the type of woman that I am. And I understand that that's my nature. It's my nature to cook wherever it is a kitchen, sweetheart. It's my nature to bake them cakes, them pies, cookies, whatever it is that you need, right? The name Charles could be significant, but that's just who I am, right? Some people, it's in their nature. I'm a provider. I'm not tricking. I got it. I don't mind giving it to you. If we operate in outside of our nature, it's going to feel bad by the end of the day. If we operate in within our nature, this comes in what feels like the energy of harmony, what comes in the energy of love, that you remember. This is the way you remember that you're supposed to feel. This is you doing things and you can sense, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is natural. Yeah, I hear my girl's Destiny shine like, it's so natural to give my love. This is second nature, and it's reflected to you in some way today. Hey, Tori, good to see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. All right, y'all, that's all. The Daily Grind, you already know where to go if you want the replay. I'll see y'all on Patreon. We'll be back for the extended messages here shortly. Bye for now.